When I first started playing this kind of music, it was with a band called Breen Dirge Muck. We did not take ourselves completely seriously. The name meant evil-smelling, red-eyed pig. But we took our work fairly seriously. We were, in that band, how should I put it? We were not overburdened with technical prowess. I mean, we could play our instruments all right, and we had some nice harmony singing, but we understood that our job was not to impress people. It was to entertain them. And I think we did a pretty good job of that, because over a fairly short career, really just 2 summers of touring, we got to play most of the major festivals around Ontario. And one of those festivals was up in Sudbury. It was the Festival Boreal, the Northern Lights Festival. It's a grand one, and we got to play several times over the course of the weekend, but I also got to be a stage host. And that meant that I got to introduce a bunch of acts, most of whom I had never seen before. One of them was called Trout Fishing in America. And some of you are familiar with them. For those of you who are not, Trout Fishing in America is something to behold. They are a weird-looking unit. They're a duo. Keith is 5'3", tops, and he plays a double bass. And at the time, it was like this, a full-size acoustic double bass. So that's a little odd to begin with. The other half of the duo is Ezra, and Ezra is, in his own description, 5'19". And he is not kidding, the guy is a monster. He plays guitar. So they've got this really interesting sort of Mutt and Jeff-esque appearance about them. And then they can really play, they can sing, they can write songs, and just all in all, they're a very entertaining package. The evening I got to introduce them, some of the entertainment actually came from kind of an unexpected quarter for me. They were playing a song and Ezra broke a string on his guitar, which can be a bit disastrous when you're playing in a duo. But at the end of that song, in exactly the amount of time that it took Ezra to find a replacement string and get his guitar back in working order, Keith filled in with this little ditty by a woman named Emily Cates. The day was very subtle. Everything was low-key. The sky was so overcast that you could hardly see, and everything slowed down to a slower frequency. The day the bass players took over the world. You're laughing now, just you wait. Well, they came pouring out of orchestras and symphonies and bands and duos and trios and quartets and quintets and every other conceivable kind of combo that was ever known to man. And although it was spontaneous, you'd think it had been planned. The day the bass players took over the world. Now one day all the bass players decided to uprise, 'cause they were tired of being sidemen to all those other guys. So they kidnapped the fiddle player and they chased away the mandolin and they tied up all the guitar players with their big old flat wound strings. And on that day the world, it was finally set free. The creatures all got together and interacted fretlessly. And the air began to vibrate with a deep tonality. The day the bass players took over the world. The day the bass players took over the world. The day the bass players took over the world.